Are you sick of school? You spend years in a classroom and come out with zero real-world skills. What if I told you the secret to getting smart and successful isn't in a textbook? If you want to study like Naval Ravikant, you have to understand this. Naval Ravikant, one of the smartest people on the planet, says traditional education is completely useless now. He built his mind and his insane fortune by learning everything himself. And today, I'm giving you his exact blueprint so you can master any skill you want, starting right now. Naval's entire strategy is built on one crazy idea. The world is a giant library, and the internet is your unlimited library card. He says all the knowledge in the world is out there, completely free. The only thing that's rare anymore is the desire to actually learn. This isn't about dumb memory tricks or speed reading. This is a complete rewiring of your brain. We're going to break down his 5 secrets so you can study like Naval Ravikant and start changing your life, literally today. Not a curriculum. I'm giving you permission to follow your craziest obsessions. Naval's biggest secret is this: learning resources are everywhere and they're free. The only thing that's rare is the desire to learn. School destroys this desire by forcing you to read boring books and study useless subjects on a schedule. Learning becomes a chore, not a choice. Naval's strategy is the complete opposite. He says to learn whatever you're obsessed with, no matter how random it is. If you play video games 24/7, study game theory. If you can't stop scrolling social media, learn the psychology behind it. If you love sci-fi movies, use that to learn about actual physics or AI. The rule is, read what you love until you love to read. Start with what feels like a game. This isn't being lazy, it's a cheat code. When you're actually curious, your brain is wide open and ready to download information. You're not fighting it, you're pulled in. Learning becomes effortless. You don't need some huge master plan. You just need one tiny spark of interest. Follow it and you'll build insane momentum. To Naval, reading isn't a hobby, it's the ultimate master skill. He credits his success almost entirely to his habit of reading for 1 to 2 hours every single day. But how he reads is the real secret, and it will blow your mind. First, and this is insane, stop finishing books you don't like. Naval treats books like treasure chests. He skims them, jumps around, and hunts for the gold. If a book is boring after the first chapter, he throws it away, zero guilt. His goal is to find the good ideas, not to read every single word like a robot. Second, read a ton of books at once. At any given time, Naval might be reading 10 or 20 different books, just picking up whatever he's in the mood for. This makes it impossible for reading to get boring. If a hard philosophy book is killing you, switch to a biography. This also mixes up ideas in your brain in crazy new ways. Third, understanding is everything. People love to brag about reading 52 books a year. Naval says that is a complete waste of time. Who cares how many books you, quote, finish? What matters is how many you actually understand. He says he'd rather reread the 100 best books over and over again until he knows them by heart than read 1,000 bad books once. Reading is not a race. It's about letting the ideas sink in.
The goal is not to collect facts, but to build a super strong frame of understanding in your mind, which brings us to the next pillar. Naval's entire philosophy is built on one simple rule: master the basics. You can't understand anything complicated if you don't nail the easy stuff first. This is the secret of first principles thinking. He literally said, I would rather read a basic microeconomics book multiple times than try to learn a bunch of complicated economical theories. Why? Because all the hard stuff is just the easy stuff combined. Think of building a skyscraper. You can't do trigonometry without first learning arithmetic. You can't do calculus if you suck at algebra. If you have a tiny crack in your foundation, you will never reach the top floors of mathematics. You'll just get lost and start memorizing things without knowing why they work. At that point, you've stopped learning. This is why Naval says to obsessively study the foundations: math, logic, microeconomics, and the original books of any field. Don't read a pop science book on evolution. He'd tell you to read Darwin's On the Origin of Species itself. Don't read the latest business trend book. He'd say to read Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations. These books give you the core rules so you can judge any new idea for yourself. Being a genius, to Naval, means you can explain a super complex idea in super simple words. If you need to use big, fancy words, you probably don't get it. The ultimate sign of mastery is making the hard stuff look easy. So stop chasing the new shiny thing. Go back to level 1. The goal is to walk into any library, pick up any book, and know you have the tools to crack it wide open. This next part is how you go from learning to getting rich. Specific knowledge is what Naval calls the thing that feels like playing a game to you, but looks like hard work to everyone else. You can't get a college degree for this, because if society can train you to do it, they can train someone else to replace you for cheaper. You find your specific knowledge by following your real obsessions, not by chasing whatever job is popular right now. To find yours, Naval says to look at what you loved doing as a kid. What did you do just for fun? Were you the kid taking apart every toy you owned just to see how it worked? That's an engineering brain. Were you always starting games and getting other kids to play? You're a natural leader and salesperson. Did you spend hours reading about some weird random topic? You have a talent for going deep. Were you the person who knew all the gossip because you just understood people? That's the start of a world-class journalist or analyst. These aren't skills, they're superpowers. Your specific knowledge is the unique mix of your superpowers. It's the combination that makes you impossible to copy. Once you find this stuff, you go all in. This is how you escape the competition. No one can compete with you at being you. When you're doing something you're actually passionate about, you can put in the thousands of hours to become a master, and it won't even feel like work. Someone who is 100% obsessed will always crush someone who's just doing it for the money. Once you have your knowledge and your obsession, it's time to actually make something. Naval famously said, "Learn to sell, learn to build. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable." Building is creating something people want. In tech, that's the coder or the designer, but it's everywhere. It could be building a service, a product, or a whole company. Building means you have to be a master of your craft.
This is where mastering the basics in your specific knowledge makes you a powerhouse. You're the person who can actually build the thing. Selling, to Naval, isn't about being a slimy car salesman. It's about being an amazing communicator. It's marketing, getting people to join your team, and convincing investors to give you millions of dollars. Selling is wrapping your creation in a story that gets people hyped. Usually, these two jobs are split. You have the CEO and the CTO, like Jobs the seller and Wozniak the builder. But Naval says the most powerful people in the world can do both. A builder who can't sell their own product is helpless. A seller who doesn't actually understand what they're selling is a fraud. But if you can build the product and sell the vision, you are a literal force of nature. Bill Gates once said he'd rather teach an engineer how to do marketing than a marketer how to engineer, because building is the harder skill. The path is to start by building. Master your specific knowledge until you can create insane value. Then learn how to sell by writing, speaking, and persuading to show that value to the world. That combination makes you unstoppable. This isn't just a guide to studying. It's a blueprint for an incredible life. It's about turning learning from a chore into the biggest adventure you've ever been on. It's about realizing the ultimate cheat code is learning how to learn. Start right now. Get one book about it. Read it only as long as you're having fun. I dare you not to finish it. Just follow that spark. That is the first step to studying like Naval Ravikant. This is Peak Razor. Let's build productivity systems that win daily.